no, I almost did that. Okay, you should have been redirected over here. If you're not redirected over here, you got to get your butt over here on your own. There's only so much I can do. Let's see. There we are. Okay. I'm back. Uh-oh, am I in the right one? No, I'm still in the craft panel. This is not the right one. I thought, like, wow, where's the... It's got to be over here. Here we go. Oh, no, don't do that to me. Don't you dare. Okay. Hi, Lewis. There, we're in the right one now. Okay, good. So, all right, let's talk about... Gotta get... Stupid thing. Okay. Let's talk about what happened at Nancy's today. The bee lady... Yes, we were joking a lot today. Yeah, we were joking a lot today. Where's the bee lady? Why is Lewis confused? Lewis, don't be confused. Do you hear me, Lewis? Lewis, can you hear me? Let me see. Yes, let me see. Hello? The bee lady. Yeah, you can hear me. Okay. Sandra, hi. High Speed Drifter, hello. How are you? Okay, so we're getting people over. There's already 13 of you that have found your way over here. And everybody's circling around, picking everybody up in the little bus and the big bus and the Ubers, dropping you off. So there's no trial tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday, right? Yeah, no trial. All right. Trial gets to be tense. Okay. Let me get to this stuff with Nancy Guthrie. I want to get to the announcement about the scaling back. Uh-oh.
That's a good question, High Speed. I don't know. That was weird when the judge did that.
Ex-FBI Maureen O'Connell. What happened? Hold on. Some FBI agent is calling somebody out? Let me see. Who are they calling out? What is going on? I don't know. Somebody seems like they're calling somebody out, but I went to their thing and it doesn't have anything about Nancy Guthrie on it, so why are they calling out this person? I think they've got the wrong name in the hashtag. That's not nice. Not nice. Okay, let's go back. Okay, now. I'm trying to get to that. Everyone left. Somebody said that everyone left Nancy Guthrie's home. So did they all pull up stakes, everybody? I don't think so. I don't think that's true. Group said they had to step in to help search for Nancy Guthrie. Searching mothers of Sonora are looking for Nancy. They said officials are not doing enough to find the missing 84-year-old. Where's the other video footage? Come on and get with it, people are saying. Okay, the FBI has gathered thousands of hours of video in Nancy Guthrie investigation. The Nancy shout out? What is the Nancy shout out? Okay, let's see. I know that. Let's see. I still can't get to that thing that was there. Oh, here they say that Ashley Banfield, what did she tell us already? Said on her show that she has a source that told her the same blood pattern that was outside the front door was also inside. They wouldn't tell her where.
Huh.
Yeah.
Probably in the bedroom because she was sleeping.
Oh, yeah. So that's what they're saying. That the lamp, now they're saying there's blood like outside. So you got the broken lamp, the blood. Who knows what these people are saying?
They're saying they saw that after all this time. That doesn't make any sense.
And then there were
crazy.
some strange people that, well, showed up today at her house taking pictures.
Said it was prosecutors, maybe.
No. This lady had like leather shorts with their butt hanging out.
Oh,
I don't think it was the
jeez.
prosecutors. And they
Oh
had
my
big,
God.
big, crazy boots on, and they were taking pictures. But here's the
That's
statement
weird.
from the Pima County attorney. Let's see. Here, I'm going to put it over here. Where are you? Right here. Okay. Veteran prosecutors from the Pima County Attorney's Office continue to work with the Pima County Sheriff's Department, the FBI, and the U.S. Attorney's Office regarding the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. County Attorney Conover trusts her veteran prosecutors to execute the work and lead on the ground, allowing them to focus on substance rather than inserting herself into the scene for optics. Ethical rules prevent us from making comments about the details of the case. Media inquiries should be directed to the FBI, Pima County Attorney's Office. Okay, so this is the refocusing, which kind of means that they're going to take detectives off and not have so many, dedicate them. It looks like they're going to redirect more things to the FBI, so that's what that's about. And it's not that they're scaling back and putting detectives on other things. Let's see. Okay. That son of a who's there were some people came. It's very strange. Girl that was dressed with her butt hanging out of these things, and they were taking pictures.
Huh.
Here, this is one. Apparently, someone said she took the flowers with her that she brought. They said. I don't know who they are or why they were there, but that's her. And if you see her from the back, she's hanging out. And I don't know how that could even be comfortable. And he's got great, I don't know.
They cleared the house though, right, Carolyn? Like, imagine if somebody put her in the basement somewhere and they didn't see her.
They probably don't. I don't even know if they have. Do they have basements in
I don't
Arizona?
know.
Sometimes
But they
don't,
did
where
have
there's
the
a lot
dog
of sand.
search.
What?
They did have the dog search. Like, she's not stuffed in a closet somewhere, God forbid.
Yeah, I'm sure they've searched that. Yeah. Okay.
Can you imagine? She just walked out. Hey.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what this is. No, why does this keep putting this in here? I don't want that in there. That's that mother that I told you about last night. All right, let's let me go to the chat and see if there's anything. There's really not much at Nancy. It's kind of seems like it's turning into a cold case, even though they say it's not. It seems like it is. I made the chat bigger. All right, let's see what you said. Her boots were even, his boots were huge. Let's see who's here. High Speed, Jen Grill, B Lady, Lewis. Oh, the message, those are not real. I really don't think they are, Lewis, at all. I don't think any of those things sent to TMZ are real. Let's see. Denise. He just seemed... Okay, so what do you guys... Are you talking about... All right, you're already on to the other thing, right? Let's just get on to Richens. Okay, so... Today... They finished with the other drug distributor, right? Lauber. And Wendy Lewis for the defense came back and was grilling her with the binders and all that crap again, right? It filled most of the morning and the afternoon on Thursday, and then early Friday morning. And Brad Bloodworth, the prosecutor, said the various dates, drug deals, and past interviews with investigators got confusing for the witness. So he, after Wendy finished all the trying to make her look not credible, he got up there and tried to piece it together for everybody. So to say, it's not that she's not telling the truth, it's just confusing with all of that stuff. And in the end, it's easy to see that she sold that stuff to Kouri, and then nobody else went to their house, and Eric died, right? Then, after that, let's see here. See the next one? I'm trying to remember. They had Robert Crozier come up. Here we go. And he was the other drug distributor. And at first, he has like 3 different kinds of immunity or something. Okay. Yeah. And they say that he was the original source of the fentanyl. He testified he sold her oxycodone, not fentanyl. And then Bloodworth said, is it fair to summarize your testimony today that you sold Carmen Lauber on at least 1, maybe 2 occasions, M30s and blues, and you believe the M30s and blues referred to at that time in 2022 were oxycodone? He agreed. Prosecutors and defense attorneys have been using this to build their compelling narratives. Let's see. And then the whole thing was, Wendy kept saying it was definitely from the pharmacy, because remember, Eric had illicit synthetic fentanyl, which was acetylfentanyl in his gastric contents. So she just kept hammering him that, that it came from the pharmacy. And then the defense said it came from a baggie, right? Okay, you didn't get it from the pharmacy. It was just ridiculous after all that. And then she didn't even do a recross, which I can't believe with the way she was. So I don't think any of their crap made a big deal in the long run with the jury. Okay, I want to look at something here. Let's go here. All right, Robert is receiving immunity in exchange for testifying truthfully and fully in the case. He lived with a woman named Nicole Cummings for a few months at the end of 2021 and near the beginning of 2022. He said Nicole asked him to talk to a friend, and that was Lauber, to obtain oxycodone. He testified that he got the oxycodone from Lauber, saying that at the time he did not have a fentanyl dealer. He said he met Lauber 1 or 2 times at the Maverick in Draper, which is a gas station, but he did not meet her 3 times, as she testified. Crozier said he knew the drugs weren't fentanyl because everybody was scared of fentanyl at the time and it was hard to get and people were dying. He said such drugs were made to look like oxycodone and people would overdose. Then Anna Isbell testified about overhearing a phone conversation between Kouri and Hayden Jeffs. Hayden Jeffs was her, I don't know if he was her husband or boyfriend, but he died in a motorcycle accident where Kouri was asking for something from a client. She said she overheard Richens asked for the Michael Jackson drug, which Isbell said he thought was a muscle relaxer. She said she did not hear Kouri ask about fentanyl. Isbell is one of the witnesses who Richens' attorneys claim prosecutors were threatening shortly before the trial. Isbell testified she was livid when a detective told her she would need to appear every day of the trial after she declined to be prepped for her testimony. I was very upset. I thought it was rude, inconsiderate, and not how you should treat somebody that did nothing wrong, she said. Kouri is charged with aggravated murder, attempted aggravated murder, first-degree felonies, 2 counts of insurance fraud, a second-degree felony, and forgery, a third-degree felony. She also has a separate case with additional financial charges that this jury will not consider. I think if she gets convicted, they'll probably drop that. Let's see. Okay. Go over here now. Okay, so let's do a wrap up here of what happened all day. So in the beginning, they talked to Carmen about the $1,300 check, and they showed it. in the court because she said they're trying to convince the jurors that the $1,300 check that Kouri wrote to Carmen was for house cleaning because that's what she put it on the check as. And then they're going to say, like, oh, who would ever write a check for, a drug deal? So Wendy Lewis asked about an interview Carmen did with the detectives while she was in jail May 4th. She kept pointing to the transcripts, kept going about just to, they played phone calls from her and Nick Bonsavich. You need to, if you haven't, to listen to the full trial coverage that we post here, really, because if you're following the trial, you need to watch it. You have the weekend to catch up, so that's good. Wendy Lewis asked Carmen if she used anybody else's urine for drug testing. Carmen said she has never used anyone's urine. Wendy Lewis asked Carmen about a way she figured out to game the system when it came to drug testing, and Carmen said she and Nick never figured out anything. It was a random phone call every day. Carmen says that the timing of the drug testing. Lewis asks if Carmen was selling drugs in 2022 to support her habit, and if some of the drugs were pulled out from Robert to use for herself or to sell. Carmen said that's not correct. Lewis said she needs to play a call to impeach the witness. So they ended up playing just a little tiny snippet of it. The phone calls were between Carmen and Nick Bonsavich, and that seems to be her partner. In the calls, Nick said to Carmen that they couldn't get any more pills. Lewis admitted the recording, and Bloodworth did not object. Then we hear the call. Nick tells Carmen that this is the last time they could get any pills. Wendy Lewis brings up May 10th, 2023 interview with the 3 investigators. Ms. Whistler, one of the investigators, asked Carmen how often she was using drugs, and Carmen told her maybe once a month. That wasn't true. You were using a lot more, said Lewis. Carmen says that's correct. Lewis tells Carmen she wasn't honest with Ms. Whistler. Carmen says that's correct. She's just trying to put her as a liar. Look, she was using still. Okay. Lewis asks about the point at the May 10th police interview when Carmen said the money would be in the closet and that's where she would leave the pills. The judge tells Lewis she needs to be much more careful and specific about how she asks her questions. Then Lewis kept reading through the transcript. Bloodworth kept objecting. Lewis says the story Carmen told the investigators in jail does not match what she said on the stand. Carmen said it was a lot to take in and process. And Wendy Lewis said Carmen's memory 1 year after the fact when she spoke with investigators was probably better than it was today, 4 years after the fact. And Carmen says that's correct. Lewis asked about the first drug exchange with Robert Crozier, the man you see there, and about the time that Kouri asked for the Michael Jackson drug. Carmen said she had to Google it and learned it was propofol. And Lewis asked if it can be bought on the street. Carmen isn't sure. She doesn't go around asking. Lewis asked Carmen if she was holding back pills from Crozier for herself. She said no. Lewis asked Carmen if she ever asked Crozier for Roxy 30s. Carmen said she asked for blues. Carmen testified that she never asked Crozier for fentanyl. Wendy Lewis tells Carmen that she told the federal investigators that Kouri never asked for fentanyl. Carmen doesn't recall. Wendy Lewis read from a transcript of her interview Carmen had with investigators where Carmen says Kouri never asked for fentanyl. Kouri asked to get the Michael Jackson stuff. Then she asked Carmen what fentanyl goes for. She said she wasn't sure. Lewis also said if she knows, it's really cheap. At least it was in 2023, she says. Lewis asked Carmen picked up the money on the same day she bought the pills. Carmen isn't sure. Lewis asked Carmen if she's aware that Kouri didn't own the Midway home until February of 2022 and had sold the home at the end of January 2022. Carmen said she was not aware of that. Wendy Lewis showed the selfie that Carmen took with Nancy Peterson on the way to get the pills. Carmen said Nancy drove on the way to pick up the pills, but Carmen drove on the way back because Nancy wanted to get high. Oh, boy. Carmen admits to always driving without a driver's license. So great. Oh, my gosh. Wendy Lewis asked Carmen about the third purchase from Robert Crozier, and Carmen tells Lewis she's confusing her because she keeps bouncing back and forth. Lewis asked Carmen to refresh her memory by reading a transcript. Lewis then asks if the second time she went back to Crozier, she asked for something stronger. Carmen said, "She's confused. You're confusing." The second time, Carmen asked for more of the same, nothing stronger. Lewis asked Carmen if she told investigators that she made 3 purchases from Kouri and 1 from Crozier. That she made 3 purchases for Kouri, 1 from Susan Kohler and 2 from Robert Crozier. Carmen says that's correct. What she remembered at the time, 1 from Susan in February, 1 from Robert in February, and 1 from Robert in March. I know you've changed your story and you now say there's another story, but this is what you told them a year after these events, said Lewis. Okay, Carmen says the detectives told her about the fentanyl. One of the detectives told Carmen the goal is to convict Kouri for aggravated murder. These parallel drug investigations are not a priority. Lewis asked if Carmen recalls that statement. She says she does not. Lewis asks her to refer to the transcript. Lewis refers Carmen to another piece of the transcript where she talked with the investigators about them putting the puzzle pieces together. Lewis asked Carmen at one point, sharing that her daughter asking about what happened and Carmen saying she didn't know. The judge says he's having a hard time following this too, because so was almost everybody. I said the jury has to be thinking, when is lunch and what is it today? Are we going to have pizza or is it going to be sandwiches like yesterday? They've totally zoned out. I mean, I didn't see them. I'm just imagining. It's my opinion. Lewis asked about a detective telling Carmen, don't worry, we're going to get you through this so you can get on with your life. And Lewis asked about an interview on May 13th when Carmen was told that the detective spoke with Nick Bonsavich and learned the last drug purchase was March 9th. Investigators then asked Carmen if it's possible she bought pills 4 times rather than 3 times. Lewis asked Carmen about her current drug court and probation status. Her probation was transferred to another county. One of the conditions was not to have contact with Nick. Carmen says she isn't sure. She shows her some documents, Lewis does. Carmen says her recollection is that while she had the ankle monitor on, she was not supposed to see her daughters. I couldn't go down to the canyon at all. Lewis told Carmen that she was not supposed to have contact with Nick as part of their probation and the fact that he's a witness in this case. Carmen says she doesn't recall that. Lewis brings up the letters that Kouri sent to the court saying Carmen has done community service. Carmen said she asked Kouri to write the letter. Lewis asked Carmen, is it fair to say she can't really recall what happened in 2022-2023? Carmen asked Lewis to rephrase the question. Carmen says she has a partial memory. Kouri never asked you for fentanyl, true? Lewis asked Carmen, and Carmen responds, yes. Lewis lists several dates and information that was told to you, but you don't remember?
You want a couple, Karen?
Lewis told Carmen that she's not being drug tested, and she waits to see what happens following her testimony. Carmen says yes, and she's been allowed to move to Las Vegas. I don't think that's the greatest place to move if she's in this recovery, do you? But she still lives in Utah. Carmen served 23 days in jail when she was arrested in April of 2023. Lewis asked Carmen if she knew what the pills were that she got from Robert Crozier. She said she doesn't know. Lewis said, you have absolutely no information about what happened to Eric Richens other than what you were told? Carmen says that's correct. She said she has no knowledge of what killed Eric Richens. Then Lewis stopped. Then Brad Bloodworth was doing the redirect. He showed a letter from the U.S. District Attorney's Office promising Carmen immunity for her testimony in the trial. He asked Carmen about the meeting and to prepare for testifying in court. Her attorney was present with her every single minute for every single meeting. Bloodworth asked about Carmen's anxiety and if she's ever seen a doctor for it. She did earlier in drug court and was diagnosed with anxiety. She was prescribed a non-narcotic white oval pill, I believe it was Buspar. Now, Bloodworth asked Carmen if she continued to behave like an active drug addict from the day she entered drug court until the time she was arrested. Carmen said she occasionally used drugs and an active user will lie. Bloodworth asks if she has been clean since she was arrested in April of 2023. She says yes. Carmen said she's been clean since detectives told her Eric Richens died of a drug overdose. Bloodworth asks if her memory has become clearer since she's become clean. She says yes, it's become clearer as she's had more time to process her involvement in Eric's death. She also says her memory has become clearer since she's reviewed Facebook messages, text messages, and other items with her attorney. Bloodworth asks about Carmen being told she could get a giant get-out-of-jail-free card and what Carmen said immediately after she was told that. Carmen doesn't recall. Bloodworth asks for her to be shown a transcript. She looks at the transcripts. She told them that even if that was the case, she still needed to step forward and take accountability if this was what really happened to Eric. Bloodworth asked if she thinks the detectives were trying to plant information in her mind, and she says no. He asks if she thinks that they were trying to help her recall information, and she says yes. Bloodworth moves to admit the transcripts of the jail interviews. Lewis objected and said that there's loads of hearsay in the transcripts. The judge said he's not prepared to rule on that, and they will do it later. Let's see. Then he had nothing further. And then they had a big discussion about the interviews and put them in or out. The judge says there's out-of-court statements are not permissible. I don't think I have a basis to admit them. The prosecutor, of course, disagreed. There are 932 pages of transcripts combined. According to Lewis, the judge summarizes the state's position and the objection from the defense. He denies the request. Carmen Lauber's testimony is done for the day, but she's going to continue under subpoena in case she has to come back into the courtroom. The judge tells Carmen she cannot speak to anybody about her case. Not about her case, about her testimony. Between now or being called back, and the judge told her to avoid talking about it and don't watch any of the witness testimony or social media or read any reports about it, and she was free to go. They went to lunch. And then Anna Isbell was the next witness. She was a friend of Kouri's in high school. Bloodworth asked Anna if she was with Hayden Jeff on January 22nd, 2022, and Hayden has died of a motorcycle crash. And Anna says she was with Hayden when Kouri called and asked if he had something for a client. He went off on her, and Kouri said, "Thank you, that was all." Okay, so that was... hold on. Okay. Bloodworth has nothing more. Wendy Lewis then cross-examined. Lewis asked if the state reached out to her a few months ago to meet with them. She said they tried a couple times, and she went to admit text messages between Anna and a detective. Bloodworth objects and asks for a sidebar. There's some confusion over the exhibit and the order of the pages. Lewis and Bloodworth are at the prosecution table trying to sort it out, and then the issue got sorted out. The texts are between Detective O'Driscoll and a man named Travis. Anna's involved in the conversation. Then they admit 2 pages of the text messages between Detective Driscoll and Anna. We see the text messages. Detective O'Driscoll messaged her to make our lives easier and answer our calls so we can prep you on what you will be asked. Otherwise, the next time I knock on your door, I'll have a warrant. Anna responded that she doesn't need to be prepped, she can just show up. She asked for the time and date that she should appear. Anna was very upset when she got the text messages, said it was wrong to treat someone like this who never did anything wrong. Anna said she did not want to talk with the police at all. She said she never refused to testify. Anna asked to communicate with the detective through the text messages, and Lewis asked Anna if she recently completed rehab. She said yes, her drug of choice, alcohol. She said she bases her years off of Hayden being dead or not. Let me see here. Lewis asked Anna if she was sober on the phone call between Kouri and Hayden. She says they ate sushi and believes she was. Kouri would help Hayden out. Kouri asked Hayden about the Michael Jackson drug. Anna thought Kouri was asking for a muscle relaxer. Anna went into the bathroom and said, Lewis asked Anna if she ever heard Kouri ask for fentanyl. She did not. Then again, Robert Crozier, the guy there, was on the stand. He has a criminal history. He says he does. He has a distribution charge in December 2022, possession charges, 2 of them in 2023, and says he began dealing drugs around 2020, and he was dealing drugs in early 2022. He has an attorney in the courtroom and is testifying on 3 grants of immunity. Let's see. Robert says his attorney told him that he needed to come to court and be honest. If he wasn't, the immunity would be void and he would be charged with a crime. Bloodworth asked who Nicole Cummings is. He said she's a girl he lived with for a few months at the end of 2021 and early 2022. Nicole contacted Robert, asked if he should get some Roxys for her friend, some Oxycodone. Robert got in touch with the friend who asked for the Roxys. The friend was Carmen. Robert met up with Carmen at the Maverick and Draper. He was coming from Roy or Layton. Bloodworth asked how many times Robert agreed to meet at the Draper Maverick. He said he remembers once clearly, maybe twice. When asked if there could have been a third time, he says, I don't think so. The first time they met at the Maverick, it was raining. They met. He gave her the drugs, and that was it. Bloodworth asks if he remembers her. He said she might have been Mexican and was short. Bloodworth asks how much money was exchanged. He says he doesn't remember. Bloodworth asks how many pills. He says 30 to 40. Robert sold or got pills for maybe 3 to 4 people around this time, he says. Bloodworth asks about the second time Robert met up with Carmen. Robert doesn't remember how it came about. I'm not even really clear if I met her a second time, to be honest with you. I know I met her the one time. It might have been twice, but this was 4 years ago, so I don't really remember if I met her more than once. Robert says if they did meet more than once, it would have been the same thing. Not a lot of interaction, meet up, get the money, give her the drugs, and leave. The only time Robert met Carmen was at the Maverick Draper, Maverick Draper sell her drugs. Robert recalls meeting with the Summit County Sheriff's Office. He was in the David County Jail and detoxing, so he doesn't remember a lot. When asked about whether Carmen requested blues or fentanyl, Robert says he doesn't remember the conversation. Bloodworth asked Robert to review a transcript showing what he told detectives in a police interview a few years ago. He's trying to clarify whether Carmen asked for oxys, M30s, or blues. Robert does not recall the conversation with the police. Police asked Robert if Carmen knew there was fentanyl in the pills that was given to her. Robert says Carmen bought what she wanted, whatever she asked for. Robert says the whole questioning with the cops was kind of telling me what I had been doing. Bloodworth wants to ask Robert about an affidavit he signed in 2025, September. He says the affidavit was read to him and he signed it, swearing that he wrote what was true. Let's see. In the affidavit, Robert said he was confused and he had only been sober for about 3 weeks prior to his release. He had been clean for 9 months. Robert signed the affidavit September 10th, 2025. Okay, let's see now. Then the state had no more questions. Lewis started the cross. Lewis says, good afternoon. And then she said, just telling me, the detectives were just telling me what I've been doing. Robert says he didn't want to get into trouble. He was already in jail. He just wanted to get out. Wendy Lewis asked about the Roxy 30s. He said those are 30 milligrams of oxycodone. Robert says it was early 2022. Around that time of year, there was snow on the ground, and Robert was charging $25 or $30 a pill. He wasn't selling fentanyl at this time, but when he sold it, it was around the same price. Lewis asked Robert if he remembers telling investigators that he once sold Carmen drugs when a man came with her. Lewis asked Robert if he was selling Carmen fentanyl pills. I don't believe so. No. Robert said everyone was scared of fentanyl in 2021, 2022. People were scared of dying, and it was all over the news. Robert had a prescription for 10 milligrams of oxycodone, and that's what he sold to Carmen, he said. Robert remembers meeting someone away from the Maverick to get the pills one time when Carmen needed them. The pills were 30 milligrams, and in early 2022, Robert says he did not have a fentanyl source and didn't know anyone who sold it. Blues mean Roxy's. Lewis asked Robert about the mistakes in the affidavit with the OxyContin versus the oxycodone. OxyContin is much stronger than oxycodone. Lewis continues to question. Let's see. Robert says he's sober. Lewis says she wants him to look at the jury, and she asks, "Are you telling the truth in here today?" He responds, "Yes, I am." Then she said no further questions, and Bloodworth followed up with a few questions about the size of the drugs bags he used. And then we had Haskell, let's see. Oh, yeah, okay. There was a problem. They brought in an undercover cop, and then they had to stop it, and they couldn't talk to him. He asked Court TV to stop recording, and then back on. We were on a Marcos Gary Cochia. And he said that the other guy processed and extracted the data from the cell phones related to the case for using the Cellbrite program. And once Gary Cochia obtained the raw data from Cellbrite, the data was given back to the Summit County Sheriff's Office. He extracted data from 4 different phones. One of the phones was broken, and he had to prepare the phone screen. These are the phones of the Grossman guy, and he said he had broke them on accident, remember? He explains how he fixed the phone. There was water damage. There was debris in the phone. When you repair the phone, it does not change the data. And then there was Alex Ramos came on, and he asked how Cellbrite works and if Gary Cochia made sure that nothing was manipulated with the data. Ramos asked how he got the phones. 2 separate phones arrived in evidence packages. He took pictures of each phone, and he cut open the phones. He took pictures of each of the phones. He did the same process with all 4 phones. Ramos asked Gary Cochia if he analyzed any of the data. He did not. He just extracted it. Ramos asked if once a phone has been extracted, would there be any other reason to extract it again? Gary Cochia says perhaps different forensic tools could yield different results. Then that was it. The judge said they were going to excuse for the weekend, 8:30 Monday morning. You come back, and that's it. And let's go. Okay. So that was that. Let me see where you guys are. I don't know where you are. Don't know where you are. Margaret says, well, I usually watch it on Friday nights. I've never seen that one. It was really good. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh, nobody, B-Lady, nobody took it down. I checked. We didn't get any letter from the court. And everybody has that footage up. I think it was more to do with the testimony. I don't even understand. Oh, you want to talk about the yogurt shop murders? Okay, we'll talk about them. We'll talk about them. Let's talk about... Jimmy watched that too. About the yogurt shop murders. Hated Jeffs. Oh, that's interesting, Amy, right? Let me see. I doubt it though, right? Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Good catch. No relation, it says. Hayden Jeffs was a 35-year-old handyman and contractor based in Heber City, Utah, who worked on properties owned by Kouri Richins. Jeff told police that Kouri asked him to obtain fentanyl and propofol for her in the weeks leading up to her husband's death in March of 2022. Tragically, Hayden Jeffs died in a motorcycle accident on September 30th, 2024, after speaking with authorities, according to his obituary and court documents. According to his obituary, he was the son of William Jeffs and Lisa Atkinson. I feel like I've heard of Lisa Atkinson. Okay, unlike Warren Jeffs, the well-known polygamous leader. And while the name Jeffs is common in that community with relatives like Lyle and Heber Jeffs, even like that's Heber's the name of the town. Wow. There is no evidence connecting Hayden Jeffs to him. Hayden Jeffs was an employee contractor for Kouri Richins, not a relative or associate in the personal life outside of working on her real estate properties. Okay. I wonder if somebody, you don't think anybody killed, because he was going to be a witness. You don't think somebody did something to him, do you? Let's see how he crashed. It says, investigators now say a woman accused of fatally poisoning her husband asked multiple people if they could procure fentanyl for her. Kouri Richins, let's see. Then it says William Hayden Jeffs, a handyman who worked on multiple homes owned by her, was interviewed by police. According to the search warrant, he told police Kouri had asked him if he could obtain fentanyl and propofol for her during the weeks leading up to Eric Richens' death. The officer who authorized the search warrant said Jeff showed them text messages on his phone supporting his account and provided copies. The warrant did not say anything about what his response to the request was, but it did not claim Richens obtained any illicit drugs through him. After Jeffs died in a tragic accident, a judge granted a search warrant for his phone for evidence in the Richens case. The search warrant was filed on November 6th. Did claim Richens had obtained fentanyl multiple times shortly before and after her husband's death through contacts of a woman who had cleaned houses for her business. Another search warrant the same day permitted officers to search the Richens home, again for other documents and journals. It said the evidence they had already gathered from the home suggested there was more in the home and buildings outside of the home, including a detached office. Since these search warrants were granted, a judge denied a repeated request for bail from Richens. Richens charged with aggravated murder and attempted murder, first-degree felonies, 2 counts of insurance fraud, and 2 counts of filing a fraudulent insurance claim. Second-degree felonies plus 3 counts of forgery, a third-degree felony. Prosecutors claim she attempted to murder her husband on February 14th, less than a month before her husband died of a fentanyl overdose. Richens and her attorneys continue to dispute the charges, and she has pled not guilty. Okay, that was from 2024 about him. Let's see what this is about. From May of 2024 about Kouri. Listen to this. In a hearing Monday, Judge Richard Mizrazik addressed a motion for Kouri's attorneys to withdraw and suggested appointing Wendy Lewis, that's who she has now, and Catherine Nestor to the case. The withdrawal of Sky Lazaro was made official on Friday, and Jamie Bracken, an attorney representing Summit County, said she had no objection to the new attorneys. The judge asked Lazaro to ensure the case documents are sent to the new attorneys. Lewis said it's hard to say how much time she will need to prepare for a preliminary hearing. This is June of 2024. And asked to set a hearing in mid-June when they could schedule the preliminary hearing that was set for June 21st. Now listen to this one. Kouri, listen, sent voice recordings to multiple national media outlets maintaining she is innocent after her attorneys asked her to be released from the case. She said speaking out for the first time is terrifying but needed. And this is what she said, and I quote, "They took an innocent mom away from her babies, and this means war." She didn't have a response when she saw those babies' pictures. She did a smirk. She said she has sent them to KSL by Dateline, and a spokesperson for Kouri Richins said they had sent recordings to other outlets. And she said again, and I quote, "I've been silent for a year, ripped away from my kids, my family, my life, living with the media, telling the world they think I am, what they think I am, what they think I've done, or how they think I've lived. And it's time to start speaking up." Oh, she'll be taking the stand. Yeah, I think she'll be taking the stand. She said the timely trial she was promised hasn't happened, and claimed that prosecutors will do anything they can to prolong this process and hide their corruption. She said in the recordings that she is extremely disappointed with the status of her case. And she said, I'm anxious for my innocence. I'm anxious to get to trial, and I'm ready to give this one heck of a fight." She said the world has not yet heard who she really is or the real facts of the case. And she said it's time to do some serious damage control. And she said this, "Who I really am, and all that matters, is a wife of Eric Richens and a mom to 3 beautiful boys. What I've really done is protect Eric at all costs. What I really didn't do is murder my husband. I could not and would not ever do that to Eric or anyone for that matter. I'm asking the world to give me a chance. Give me a chance to prove it to you." Richens said she was devastated and shocked that her team had to withdraw, and said Lazaro had become like family, and it was not the choice of either of them. However, she said it's time to move forward. She said there's a lot of work to do, and she's ready for the challenge. So why did the Lazaro ask to be removed? I will never quit. I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to go to trial. And I'm definitely ready to prove my innocence. And then Eric's family responded. So Greg Skordas, a Salt Lake City attorney representing the family of Eric Richens, said it was no surprise Kouri is proclaiming her innocence in these new recordings. We know what happened. She knows what happened. A jury will soon know what happened. And I just trust the judicial system, Skordas said. He said the claims made by Kouri Richins in the audio recordings are rantings, and they are completely untrue. He said, we know what the evidence is. She should know the evidence by now, and we believe that a jury will have enough evidence to convict her. Okay. Now let's see what happened. She had been scheduled for a preliminary hearing on May 15th, but it was delayed and rescheduled for 3 days in June after Lazaro announced her intention to object to 18 exhibits, and prosecutors said they were not ready to argue in favor of each exhibit. Then Lazaro asked the judge to disqualify the prosecutors from the case, specifically Summit County Chief Prosecutor Brad Bloodworth, alleging misconduct, and before attorneys at Lazaro's firm filed a motion asking to withdraw from the case completely. The motion to disqualify the prosecutors still needs to be addressed by the court, but prosecutors said in a statement it was materially inaccurate. They have not yet filed an official response. Okay, that's weird. So why would she have, let's see why Sky Lazaro, we got to get the background. Why did Sky Lazaro then? Okay, she cited an ethical mandate and irreconcilable and non-waivable situation. The issue emerged from the civil cases Kouri is facing from her husband's family. Okay, now I'm going to just go the yogurt shop murders because you know, this is on, there's a documentary, The Yogurt Shop Murders on HBO, right? Did you guys watch that? I'll have to watch that on a movie night. Too tired tonight to watch a movie, but could do that. I'm falling, let's see. But where's the, let's see. All right, let's see what happened here. So there were 4 girls shot. I feel like I covered this before. So there was a yoga shop too that we did, right? A Lululemon shop where somebody was killed. I remember doing something about that. I really believe I covered this one time. Okay, so these were the girls. And let's see here. Stop it. Oh my gosh, this is driving me crazy. Let me get this. Okay. All right, let's see now here. Just a regular night inside a yogurt shop, Austin, Texas. It turned catastrophic. There were 4 teenage girls. The one you see there on your screen were murdered. Their remains gruesomely burned in a fire. And that happened in 1991. Investigators had pursued answers, but the truth behind the yogurt shop murders remained hidden. However, a forensic breakthrough more than 30 years later likely solved the case. Austin Police Department previously announced a wide range of DNA testing helped identify the deceased Robert Eugene Brashers as the suspect in their murders. Where is the, how did they have the guy that they... On December 6th of 1991, firefighters responded to a blaze at I Can't Believe It's Yogurt, a store in Austin, Texas. Once the fire was under control, responders found the bodies of 4 teenage girls, including 2 workers. They were all killed with gunshot wounds to the head. Their remains were identified as belonging to Eliza Thomas, 17, Amy, oh my gosh, I can't even speak tonight. I must be exhausted. Amy Ayers, 13, and sisters, oh, that's terrible, Jennifer Harbison and Sarah Harbison. Investigators thought the fire was started intentionally to cover up the murders. Much of the evidence was compromised, but they discovered 2 clues. One was a bullet found in a store sink, which suggested a .22 caliber revolver was one of the 2 guns used at the crime. Additionally, a couple who left the store, oh, I covered this, I remember this, who left the store at 11 p.m. testified that Jennifer Harbison had locked the door behind them to prevent additional customers from entering. They said 2 men who looked out of place sitting at a table with only 1 drink. They saw them. Let's see. At least 50 individuals confessed over the next decade. In October of 1999, police arrested 4 men in connection to the crime. Robert Burns Springsteen Jr., Michael James Scott, Maurice Pierce, and Forrest Wellborn. All 4 were charged with capital murder. The charges against Pierce and Wellborn, who were juveniles when the crime took place, were eventually dropped because of lack of evidence. Let's see. In 2001 and 2002, respectively, Springsteen and Scott, who separately confessed to the crimes, were tried and convicted. Springsteen received the death penalty, which was later commuted to life in prison, while Scott was given a life in prison sentence. By 2009, both Springsteen and Scott had their charges dismissed and were released. Texas Court of Appeals ruled Springsteen had received an unfair trial because he wasn't allowed to cross-examine Scott, who had implicated him in his witness confession. A court determined Scott's rights under the Sixth Amendment were violated for the same reason. Detectives also admitted to unethical interrogation methods, including holding a gun to Scott's head, oh my gosh, and withholding key evidence, according to the media. Police, perhaps most importantly, genetic testing of DNA found on one of the bodies did not match either suspect. No one has, no one has, and no one was arrested in the case following their release. Still, a promising clue brought investigators and the families tantalizingly close to more answers. In 2017, Austin police matched a DNA sample from the crime scene with one the FBI had uploaded to the public research database. The single sample of DNA, let's see. what do I have here? No. Although investigators in the yogurt shop hope to do similar research on the YSTR in question, the FBI refused to grant access to the research sample for legal reasons. The FBI did not perform forensic DNA testing in the case and cannot speak on it. Lead detective Dan Jackson took over the case in 2022. He didn't give up, and he helped find a pair of breakthrough links. Let's see. So they identified Robert Eugene Brashers as the likely perpetrator. Brashers died at 40 in January of 1999 after he shot himself during a standoff with the police. He had extensive criminal history, including an 1986 conviction, attempted second-degree murder. Authorities linked Brashers to other notable cases, including the 1998 killings of Sherry Scherer, 38, and Megan Scherer, 15, inside their home in Missouri. Remember that case where that guy put the mustard on the door in a house in Missouri? We covered that like a long time ago. The Austin Chief of Police, Lisa Davis, said Brashers was matched to the only physical evidence at the Austin crime scene, identified as a spent .38 shell casing located in a floor drain. Okay, so the announcement brought a fair degree of closure to family members of the 4 victims. We never wanted anyone to go to jail or be charged with something they did not do. Vengeance was never it, said the mother of Jennifer and Sarah Harrison, Barbara Ayers Wilson. It was always the truth. Because Springsteen and Scott were not fully exonerated at their release, they were initially able to be tried again at a later time. However, that changed with the judge's ruling in February of 2026. Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza filed a motion to formally clear the names of Springsteen and Scott along with Maurice Pierce and Forrest Wellborn. In late 2025, Judge Dana Blasey officially agreed and stated that all 4 are exonerated in the case with their records cleared. Springsteen, Scott, and Wellborn are still alive, while Pierce experienced a mental health crisis in 2010 and was shot and killed after attempting to stab a police officer. Yikes. Okay, and so Scott said, and I quote, "For decades I have carried the burden of wrongful conviction every day. I have carried the weight of a crime that I did not commit. No court ruling can return the years and the love that were taken from me, but it can acknowledge the truth. I am not guilty." Okay, well, there's a documentary on HBO about it. Okay, let's see. Hold on. What are you saying? Hang on. Hi, Julianne Gonzalez. How are you? To Scooter, hello there. What did Julianne say? Margaret, totally guilty, but I remain fascinated with the backstory details. Her lawyer. Wait, what are you guys are driving me crazy because I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about Kouri? Oh, okay, good. Okay, I didn't know who you were talking about. I get it, Julie. You think she's totally guilty? Yeah. It's a good case. I'm glad she's covering you too. She's covering you too. Wasn't saying she was innocent, but had a hell of an attorney And Boston cops screwed up royally. Oh, you're talking about, oh boy. Yes, I am way new to the story, now riveted. So glad Mommy Roundlands is covering it. I now understand that I watched a lot of the pre-hearing. Oh, I understand that. Go one. Finally. Hi 61. How are you? Nestor is also representing the man who killed Charlie Kirk. You know what? I don't know, B lady. I don't know that. I don't know. She sent it to, yeah, media stations. Yes. I don't know, how did she even get that? How did she even get a recording out there? How'd she do that? On their tablet? She sent a MP3? Interesting, right? Interesting. Let's see what else we can find out about Kouri. You want to find out more backstory about her? Let's see what else. I like to go back and see things. Okay. Because you find out more when you go back, right? All right, let's see. Let's look at this. Okay. Kouri Richins. She Googled, allegedly, luxury prisons for the rich after her husband's death, according to court documents. New details of the case were revealed in court records, which show that investigators got access to Richens' phone and found various typo-ridden, yeah, they're terrible. There's so many typos in there. It's crazy. Typo-ridden Google searches that they believe may be used as incriminating evidence against Kouri. She apparently searched the following phrases in the beginning of April 2022. Luxury prisons for the rich in America. How long does life insurance companies take to pay? Can you delete everything on an old iCloud account? Can deleted text messages be retrieved? What information can be obtained from a cell phone? How to turn Find My iPhone off? Can cops force you to do a lie detector test? When does the FBI get involved in a case? What is considered a lethal dose of fentanyl? And what are you allowed inside Utah jails? Her Google search history also included a search for her own net worth, various inquiries about ranches for sale in Tennessee and Montana, and searches for her husband's family ties to police in Summit County, Utah. Now that's new. Her attorney, Sky Lazaro, filed a response to the state's allegations on Sunday, saying her search history is merely in response to what was happening with the investigation, not evidence of guilt. Lazaro also pushed for Richens to be released on bail because there is no substantial evidence to support the charges. though a judge on Monday denied bail for the murder suspect. Amy Richens, Eric's sister, called her sister-in-law desperate, greedy, and extremely manipulative in a statement read aloud during Richens' Monday bail hearing. How can anyone value human life so cheaply? I cannot comprehend it, she said. Prosecutors, okay. Kouri told investigators on the morning of March 4th she did not know what happened to her husband after calling police to report his death. According to a transcript from body-worn camera footage, she said, "He didn't just die in his sleep. This is insane." Later, after finding out that her children heard their father had died, she apparently said, "This can't be happening. This can't be happening. This can't be happening." Kouri's defense attorney alleges that Summit County officials did not read Richens her Miranda rights when they questioned her after Eric Richens' death and apparently ignored communication from her counsel. She's arguing that as a result of the alleged malpractice, investigators should refrain from using the passcodes to access Ms. Richens' cell phone. Additionally, her defense team is taking issue with testimony from a witness identified as CL, that's Carmen, in court documents, who is currently in prison. CL told investigators that she sold fentanyl to Kouri prior to Eric's poisoning death, but Lozaro alleges that CL only identified the fentanyl after investigators pushed her to do so after questioning her for over an hour. Just that. Okay, so that was kind of interesting. Let's see what else we have. Oh, listen to this one. Oh, no, we got that one already. That was her email. Here's something else. Let's see. Kouri Richins seeks jail release amid claims of good behavior and educational pursuits. Educational pursuits. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Since Kouri Richins has been in jail after being arrested and charged with the murder of her husband in 2022, she has been a compliant, even studious inmate, her lawyers say. This is part of the reason a new petition was filed Monday, October 22nd, asking Richins to be let out of jail while she awaits trial, scheduled in May of 2025. So that's quite later, right? Documents accompanying the petition say that Richins has been pursuing various educational activities while in jail, enrolling in both a paralegal studies program and an MBA program. She's also taking courses in parenting, history, art, and botany. Richins, 34 years old at the time, mother of three, argues that in addition to good behavior while in prison, her relationship with her three children is being damaged by not being allowed contact with them. Her attorney says she has not been allowed to speak with them, except once, after she got the court's permission. Another consideration, Richens' attorneys argue, is that she is not facing the death penalty anymore because prosecutors decided to pursue her case as a non-capital first-degree felony. Initially, charges against her included aggravated murder, which is eligible for the death penalty in Utah, but now the charge has been downgraded. Prosecutors say this change should alter how the court views Richens' threat to the community. Third District Judge Richard Mazarek has previously ruled that Richens posed both a flight risk and a danger. With the death penalty no longer on the table, Richens' attorneys are asking Mazarek to consider releasing her. And that shouldn't say prosecutors, that should say her defense team. Summit County prosecutors have charged her with first-degree murder and attempted murder, drug distribution, and financial crimes. Excuse me. So she hasn't seen her kids. When those of you that were asking if she's seen her kids. But then she had that. Kouri Richins' letter is highly inappropriate. Let's see. Seeing what else, if there's anything else that we can. Let's see what this is. What's this? That's nothing. Had a guilty conscience and engaged in a cover-up by deleting text messages. Okay. Let's see about... Kouri's mom had a female partner that also overdosed. Hold on a minute. And she left the mom as a beneficiary. Just found it odd that the sister enters the house the night, and first thing she says to the police is that she is the executor of her brother's will and that she has full power of attorney. I don't feel that would be the first thing I would say. It would be important, someone says, because that meant the sister had control of the house and the kids, especially if Kouri would have been arrested right then. That took all the power for decisions away from Kouri. Eric knew what he was doing. He figured that day was coming. He was prepared. Oh, let's see. Lisa, Rodney, and Kouri's other brother DJ have been denied private visits with the 3 children, and they're embroiled in a custody battle. Lisa attends the boys' sports practices, which are held in public. So her mother and brother have been denied visitation too. Not sure what that is. Where's Kouri's dad? People want to know. Who is he? Where is Kouri's dad? What happened to Kouri's dad, right? We haven't heard anything about Kouri's dad. Let's see. Who is... Oh, he died in 2022. No, that's Eric. I'm sorry. Hold on a minute. I just saw... Here's Eric's obituary. Eric, here, look at this. This is Eric's obituary. Eric Eugene Richard made his last extravagant and largely unexpected gesture on March 4th, 2022, signing off on a life, in his own words, lived to the fullest and with few regrets. God certainly perfected the mold when Eric was born. Hold on, my eyes. To Jean and Linda Carter. Linda Carter, that's funny, right? Linda Carter? Richens on May 13th, 1982. Wow, 1982. It's crazy. In Bountiful, Utah. Eric's world revolved around his family, his love for hunting, his family cattle ranch, and his insane drive as a successful entrepreneur. Being born into the Richens legacy shaped Eric's formative years and resulted in a lifetime of hard work, dedication, and fierce loyalty. Being the eldest, he was the eldest, was a dubious task, but he was up for the challenge and led and loved his sisters fiercely. At an early age, Eric learned the joys of keeping horses and cows around. He spent countless hours helping his dad work the ranch, hauling hay, feeding the animals, mending fences. He loved his family unconditionally and was a devoted son, brother, and uncle. Eric was a family man who always strove to be the absolute best father and husband. He was an attentive and loving father to his three sons, Carter, 9, Ashton, 7, and Weston, 5, and a devoted husband to the love of his life and wife of 9 years, Kouri Richins. Eric did absolutely everything in his power to provide his family with every possible opportunity to learn, grow, and have fun. Growing up, Eric was a serious athlete, and he loved all sports, whether it was watching them or playing them. He was involved in cross-country, basketball, baseball, and soccer. He was also the coach or assistant coach on all of his boys' teams. He spent countless hours coaching and teaching the boys to play aggressive and give it their all. Eric truly cared about every single child he coached and wanted the absolute best for all of them. Eric was an avid outdoorsman and dedicated hunter. He was an excellent archer and marksman and had multiple trophy animals from all around the world, including Africa, Mexico, Canada, and the United States. There was never a dull moment when you were around Eric, whether it be him showing up to a family dinner with no socks or sleeves on his shirt because he had to make an emergency bathroom stop along the way. What? Do you get that? Whether it was showing up to a family dinner with no socks or sleeves on his shirt because he had to make an emergency bathroom stop. You mean he cut the sleeves off his shirt to wipe himself? Okay, gross. TMI. Or his calling to tell you he rolled the four-wheeler for the upteenth time is stuck and needs you to come get him. Eric loved to have fun and was always the life of the party. He owned about every motorized toy possible, from four-wheelers and side-by-sides to trucks and snowmobiles. Because of this, he of course holds the Richens family record for most rolls and collisions of motorized vehicles, as well as most stitches received from a single incident, 200 on his face to be exact. But he was like 37. Wait a minute. I'm so confused. He was born in 82. And he died in 22. Wait a second. Oh, he was going to be 40. Okay. Why do I think that... How old? Wait a minute. Today he'd be 44. Okay. Alright, so he was 39. Now that makes sense, because I thought he was... Alright, so where were we? Eric was a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He served a 2-year mission in Mexico City, where he learned to speak Spanish fluently. He received a bachelor's degree from University of Utah in International Studies with a minor in Spanish. Together, Eric's mission and his education truly shaped his business acumen. He had the perfect combination of business sense and foresight. He built a very successful masonry business from the ground up, and he helped many friends do the same. He had a special ability to build close relationships with everyone he worked with, and which really allowed his business to thrive. Eric loved every aspect of his job, but most of all, he loved the people he worked for and those he worked with. Eric faithfully supported organizations that he truly believed in. He never was one that wanted recognition or accolades. He did most things anonymously and without recognition. Eric was a true champion of all people. It did not matter if you were an employee, family, friend, or the next random person walking down the street. If you needed anything, you could count on him. He truly cared about each person he met. He was always trying to help people find better situations in work and in life. Eric made sure to set aside time to do what he loved most and made sure that everyone around him did the same. Eric loved fully, laughed loudly, lived life with reckless abandon. He enjoyed great adventures to far-off places, but also cherished the small and finer things in life, like his Under Armour sweatsuits and spending time with his family and friends. No obstacle was too great for Rico. He simply viewed each one as a challenge. No peaks were too high, and his next adventure was always just around the next bend. Words can't describe the loneliness and loss that is felt in every heart that was lucky enough to know him. We all need to learn from Eric's example and be sure to make the time to have fun and to do what we love. Thank you, Rico, for being such an inspiration and role model for us all. We love you, Eric, with all our hearts and more. Eric is preceded in death by his amazing mother, Linda Carter Richens, his paternal grandparents, H. Lamont and Alethea Ferguson Richens, his maternal grandfather, Charles Carter. Can you imagine if his name was Jimmy Carter, and then she had Linda Carter, and then they had, Amy Carter. He is survived by his 3 incredible sons. Carter, oh look, he probably named his son for his mother's name, right? Carter. That's interesting. Carter, Ashton, and Weston. His wife, Kouri Darden. His father, Eugene F., and his sisters, Katie, Clint, Benson, Amy Williams. She could have been Amy Carter. Williams Richens, His nieces, Madeline and Lillian Benson. So Amy must not have any kids, right? Amy Williams Richens. So Amy William. Wait, that doesn't make any sense, right? Oh, she kept her name and her husband's name is William, right? Okay. Sounds original. Okay. And his maternal grandmother, Joan Carter. He is also survived by a multitude of aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends. So he was the only son. Services. Everybody has an Eric story, and we would like to hear them all. Huh. Okay. Yeah, well, that's his obituary. And let's see. What else? Let me see something here. Hold on, I'm trying to get something. No, wait, here's her family speaking out 2 years ago. Let's see what they said. It's exactly 2 years ago. It's March 14th of 2024. Just about. Let's see here. Kouri's family, the Dardens, said, okay, Summit County prosecutors accuse the chemist's mom of poisoning her late husband Eric with a lethal dose of fentanyl, and then writing a children's book on grief to help their sons. Kouri's family said that an accidental overdose is more likely. Kouri's brother, Ronnie, R-O-N-N-E-Y, Darden, sporting a shirt from Eric's business during his interview, claimed Eric enjoyed marijuana edibles and didn't buy them from safe suppliers, saying, and I quote, "Just about every trip that I've been on with him, he'd buy it from someone off the street." I guess he read that letter, right? The Dardens made their most substantial public comments on an episode of 48 Hours. Prosecutors took into, let's see what we got. Let's see what they said. We're not. Kouri's defense attorney, Sky Lazaro, was also interviewed. At one point, she took reporter Natalie Morales to see the Midway Mansion. Kouri said she and Eric celebrated the night he died. Lazaro said to Morales that prosecutors must prove Kouri purchased and gave Eric fentanyl to win their case. Investigators seized a number of items from the home, and there was no fentanyl, and there was none found on any glassware, Lazaro said. Kouri's mother, Lisa, said Eric was a good father, but also alleged infidelity on his part, which Skordas denied. Lisa, that's her mother, Ronnie, and Kouri's older brother, DJ, have been denied private visits with the three boys, and they're embroiled in a custody battle. Lisa attends the boys' sports practices because they're public. Let's see. Let's see. If there's anything else that we can find. Let's see. Okay, the sister-in-law filed a $13 million lawsuit. Let's see when this was. Oh, boy. A lawsuit against a Utah woman who wrote a children's book about coping with grief after her husband's death now stands accused of his fatal poisoning. Seeking over $13 million in damages. Let's see. The lawsuit was filed against Kouri Richins in state court by Katie Richens, the sister of Kouri Richins' late husband, Eric Richens. It accuses the woman of taking money from the husband's bank accounts, diverting money intended to pay his taxes, and obtaining a fraudulent loan, among other things, before his death in March of 2022. Kouri has been charged with this murder. Kouri committed the foregoing acts in a calculated, systematic fashion and for no reason other than to actualize a horrific endgame, to conceal her debt, misappropriate assets for the benefit of her personal business, and orchestrate Eric's demise and profit from his passing, according to the lawsuit. Let's see. The lawsuit also seeks to bar Richens from selling the book, that book she made about grief, and to turn over any money made from it, saying it makes reference to events and details from Eric Richens' life and his relationship with his children. Kouri Richins returns to court for alleged probation violation. What was that about? Kouri Richins pled no contest last February to assaulting the sister of her late husband. When her sister-in-law informed, okay, we heard that. She took a plea deal to settle the subsequent misdemeanor charge. Summit County Justice Court would dismiss the charge after a year if she abided by its terms. Prosecutors argued in court Richens failed to pay the $1,105 plea by January of 2024 and attend grief counseling or a thinking errors class within 90 days of her no contest plea. Judge Brendan McCullough threw out the first allegations because Richens is being held without bail for the duration of her pending murder trial. There is an automatic stay when people are in custody to have to pay fees, so the allegation that Ms. Richens violated this plea in abeyance would be that she did not provide to the court or substantially comply with the order of the court to provide proof of completion within those 90 days, he said on March 19th. Okay, let's see what you're saying here. Hold on, I'm trying to get to where you guys are. Hi, Chrissy. Hi, Dan Mentink. How are you, Dan? You finally made it here? Good. Interesting factoid. The CIA chooses 90% of their agents from LDS Church. Really? That's weird. Do I need to fact check that, Dan? I'm going to check that. Let me see that. Really? I don't know, Dan. You think so? Let's see. I'm not sure about that. You guys think that's true or not true? Let's see. Okay, it's a myth. Mythbusters tonight on Mommy Ramblings. The claim that the CIA chooses 90% of its agents from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is a myth. While there is a long-standing, well-documented trend of members from the LDS Church being recruited by U.S. intelligence agencies, the actual numbers are actually significantly lower than 90%. Here are the facts. Actual representation, contrary to the 90% figure, reports indicate that Latter-day Saints represent approximately 2 to 3% of the overall agency population, which is roughly proportional to their percentage in the general U.S. population. Intelligence agencies do not specifically target the church, but they do find the applicant pool attractive due to traits common among returned missionaries, such as foreign language skills, experience living abroad, a low-risk lifestyle, no alcohol, drugs, and high reliability. In the early days of the CIA and the FBI, there was a higher concentration of LDS members in certain departments, particularly under FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, who helped fuel the reputation. The CIA, FBI, and NSA do not keep records on the religious affiliation of their employees. There is a separate, well-known case that's documented from 2002 where the CIA contracted with 2 psychologists, one of whom was an LDS bishop, to develop enhanced interrogation techniques. Okay, so we have Mythbusters tonight on Mommy Ramblings. Sorry, Dan. Okay, now let's see. Boo, he said. Sorry, but we don't want to go around saying things that are not true, right, Dan? Because then we look like jerks. So we all learned something tonight. Now we know the real thing is, my hair is all in here, 2 to 3%, right? Sorry. So sorry. It's okay. Something learned, right? Hey, you got a good attitude. We learned the real truth, 2 to 3%. How are there 3 people here? Oh, okay. I'm here twice? Okay. All right, let's see. Oh, look what happened here. Israel launches a preemptive strike against Iran. Did you know that? 37 minutes ago. Israel launched a preemptive strike against Iran early Saturday. It's an announcement from the Israeli Defense Minister, Israel Katz. Katz declared a special and immediate state of emergency across the entire country. He said the strike was to remove threats against the state of Israel. Let's see what else is going on. Here's a feel-good story. Look at this. Let's put this here. Come on. Picture, picture. Let's go. What happened to picture, picture? Hold on. Hold on, please. Try it again. There we go. Okay, now listen to this story. Amy Beath walked into a pre-operation room in January of 2022 and was struck when she saw her patient, a small, underweight child in a hospital bed with the covers up to his chin. He was 4 years old and he was scheduled for a heart catheterization. He didn't have a parent or guardian. He was wide-eyed and full of fear. You could tell he was scared and nervous and didn't know anyone. Beath was a pediatric cardiac anesthesiologist at Children's Nebraska, and she said she doesn't really see kids by themselves in pre-op. The child's name was True. He was born with congenital heart disease, and the left side of his heart was underdeveloped. A few months later, in the fall of 2021, he underwent open heart surgery, and then he faced months of complications. What concerns Beath the most was not his medical records, it was his home life. He was in foster care, and his caseworker would normally accompany him to medical appointments, but she had COVID, so he was at the hospital for a multi-hour surgery alone. She called True's caseworker to ask about the situation and learned he had 6 siblings, 5 of whom were placed with their grandmother because of a domestic violence situation. He had not been getting his medication or meals as needed. The caseworker said that after his surgery months earlier, he rarely had visitors. As a result, he was sent to a rehab center to recover, and the rehab staffers took him to the catheterization procedure, where he met Beath. The caseworker explained that it was a struggle to find a suitable home given his specialized medical needs, and half-jokingly said, "Are you an option?" Beath and her husband, Ryan Beath, became licensed foster parents in 2017 after having 3 biological children. They decided to do so after they saw the effects of child abuse in her work at the hospital. A little girl came in with a gunshot to her head, the same age as my biological daughter. She looked like my daughter. The only difference between that girl and my daughter were who her parents were. Over the years, they have fostered and adopted 3 children. They took in True at their home in Omaha, and it felt like an obvious choice. Let's see. She said she quickly saw True's sense of humor and personality coming through. Just before anesthesia fully kicked in, he tricked her, pretending to be asleep, and then he popped his eyes wide open and said, "Boo." I thought, I love this kid. This kid is funny. This kid needs a break. He needs a better family. Her husband Ryan visited True in the hospital as he recovered. They instantly hit it off. He was such an easy kid to love. It was meant to be. The Beaths bought True home in February 2022. True's oldest brother has a different biological father than his siblings and was living with his father. True's remaining 5 siblings were still with their grandmother. True would always talk about his siblings. Every week or two, the family would invite True's biological siblings over for playdates. And through these visits, the Beaths learned more about their home life. So here's... Hold on. Here's their siblings. Okay, let me get over here. I started talking to the caseworker and I said, I don't think anybody is in a good spot in that home. Amy said, give me a minute to see what I can do. The Beaths decided to take in True's older sister, Lainey. They checked with family and friends to see if anyone was willing to foster the other 4 siblings. Amy's sister and her husband took in 1 child. Ryan's brother and his wife took in another child, and her colleague, a fellow anesthesiologist, took in the remaining 2. The 6 all found homes, Amy said. The 6 children were adopted on the same day in August of 2023. There was one big, huge adoption. It's a butterfly effect of kindness. Amy said her biological children have welcomed their adopted siblings with open arms. Everybody was on board with it, and it was awesome. They don't know any different. It's just like, this is who my family is. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 5 kids of their own? Wow. And then... Is that correct? Wait. I'm confused now. Didn't she say, I'm lost now? How many kids did she adopt? Hold on. The Beaths decided to take in True's older sister, Lainey, this little girl. They checked with the family and friends. Amy's sister and her husband took in 1 child. His wife took in another. A fellow analyst took the remaining 2. So wait a minute. But she's got 2 here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 of her own. And wow. Oh, here it says here. It's True with his siblings. Bottom row. Briggs, Hayes, and True. Everybody was on board with it, thought it was awesome. They don't know any different. Amy and Ryan Beath are each one of 3 children and didn't expect to have 8 kids. I never thought we'd have this big of a family, but I'm very happy we did. Everyone goes to bat for each other. It's a loving house. Oh, but she took in and adopted other foster kids, right, too? So some of them, no, but she said those, I don't know. True's cardiologist emphasized the importance of a supportive home. I think he's alive today because Amy and Ryan are stepping up to the plate and taking him in. Oh, and now look at them now. That was in 2022, right? Let's see. Cole said seeing another doctor become a parent to their patient has been extraordinary. Let's see. True is being closely monitored and is stable for now. Cole said he will need a heart transplant, but there's no telling when that will be. It's really a moment by moment, visit by visit with him. To be a candidate, he said a person must have a strong support system. Okay, let's see. Before Amy and Ryan adopted him, he would not have been a candidate. Since his adoption, he's medically in a place that allows him to have all the options available to him. True now, 9 years old. He's grateful for his mom and dad and the chance they gave him and his siblings. I like having a big family. I'm feeling good. True's parents said he's thriving. You can just tell he's in the right spot. He's completed our family. The Bee said they're hoping to share True's story, which was first reported in KETV, because it'll inspire others take in a foster child. They are like little flower buds that just blossom. If more people would do it, it would change the world. Her husband added that their family is overflowing with love. They help you just as much as you help them. That was a nice story for a change. What is this about? Listen to this now. Police said preliminary information. Where are we? Sorry about it. I didn't start. Hold on a minute. A woman and 2 children were found dead inside a house in a gated community filled with million-dollar mansions. Their bodies were discovered at the house on Pavia Way in Lakewood Ranch outside of Sarasota, Florida at about 8:30 p.m. on Thursday. Police arrived and asked the homeowner after the homeowner called to ask for a welfare check. The relationship between the homeowner and the caller is unclear. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office said deputies observed circumstances that prompted them to enter the residence, where they found 3 dead. The home is inside the gated community of the Lake Club, which is lined with million-dollar houses. Forensics were at the house investigating, and the medical examiner will determine the cause of death. Wow, that doesn't sound good, right? See what else we have. Come on. What is this now? Sheriff, we got some Nancy Guthrie. Breaking news. Let's see. Nancy Guthrie, Arizona home. Let's see. The sheriff. What is the sheriff saying here? Hold on. Change our graphic. Nancy Guthrie's Arizona home has been processed and has been available to her family since the first week she vanished. Authorities revealed as the case continues into its fourth week. Investigators reportedly gathered evidence early on, photographing the scene, dusting for fingerprints, and collecting anything that could help the case. In other words, the family has technically had access to the property since the beginning of the investigation. Investigators claim they recently returned for follow-up, which cleaned up confusion about reports that police had prepared to release the house back to the Guthries on February 25th. Authorities, let's see, that's it. Former Special Duty U.S. Marshal Spencer Cousins shared a sobering perspective, explaining that when someone is kidnapped, your life expectancy drops about 90% when you are moved to a second location. He urged viewers to fight like your life depends on it if they ever believe they're about to be deducted. Oh my gosh, I need to go to sleep. Abducted. If an abduction is attempted at the first location, you have a 90% survival rate. Once you get moved to a second location, survival rate drops to 10%. Because now you have given the abductors control. You have given them time and you have given them options. If you are put in a car, you're probably not coming out. So take the bullet, run in a zigzag, do whatever you can. It's your best chance at getting away, but never, ever let them get you into that car. Okay, let's see what else we got. Curved dagger. Kyron Horman. Wow, remember that? Listen to this. Everybody was, remember Kyron Horman? Listen to this. Hold on a minute. Let me just change this graphic here. So he's been missing since 2010, but he was named an FBI tip found in the Epstein files, it says. Hold on a second. Let me see what this is. Contact lenses driving me bananas. Okay. Here's what it says. Come on. Portland, Oregon. Kyron Horman, who disappeared from Skyline Elementary School in 2010, has been mentioned in an uncorroborated tip in the Epstein files. The Oregonian first reported it, that the file, labeled blah, 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 relates to an FBI tip about child trafficking happening in Thornhill, Ontario, Canada, where numerous cases were reported as potentially connected. According to the tip, there have been reports over the years about an extensive daycare adoption ring in Thornhill. That is where Epstein was reportedly spotted with his hair dyed brown. The tip claims that several reports have been made in relation to the ring about high-profile missing persons cases, including Kyron Horman, Madeline McCann, Haley Cummings, with several names being misspelled in the tip. The tipster goes on to claim the child trafficking ring was in some way related to money laundering and money movement in what they called the Epstein Clinton Foundation, what the tipster claimed was tied to Hillary Clinton's brother. Kyron Horman's mention does not go any further than that anonymous tip. Kyron was last seen at the Skyline Elementary School on June 4th, my birthday, 2010. The last known person to see him was his stepmother, Terry Horman. Despite dozens of searches, 2010, wait a minute. Luke was a year old. Kyron has never been found and no arrests have ever been made. In 2025, local law enforcement announced they were re-examining the Kyron Horman case with assistance from the FBI. Now, Kyron's mother noted that there are no connections between Epstein and Kyron. Okay, that was like much to do about nothing. They made it sound like it was something. It was nothing. Okay. Okay, come on now. Come on. Iran prepares for retaliation. Holy cow, shuts down her 3-year-old daughters. See if there's anything else. Mexico cartel chaos upends dream wedding as couple scrambles for, a lot of people are canceling their trips there, of course. Okay, I'm not seeing too much else. And what time is it? It's 2 something. Tomorrow's Saturday. Let me see. Pink got separated from Carrie Hart for the second time after 20 years of marriage. Neil Sedaka passed away. Robert Carradine. Let's see what else we got. Mom of 8 accused of crushing her boyfriend with the new SUV. What? Let's see here. Okay, let me see here. A North Las Vegas parking lot turned into a homicide scene when a Nevada woman allegedly ran over her longtime boyfriend, the father of her 8 children, with a brand new SUV after a heated argument outside of an Olive Garden restaurant. Andrea Roman, 40 years old, is charged with murder and the use of a deadly weapon in the October 18, 2025 death of Brian Hicks, also 40 years old. Prosecutors say Andrea deliberately inched forward, turned the wheel towards him, pinning him beneath the newly purchased Mitsubishi Outlander, and crushing his head. He later died of traumatic asphyxia. The confrontation happened in front of the couple's youngest child, a 4-year-old, who was with them at the time. How terrible. 8 kids, right? They went on and had 8 kids. She kills the husband. She'll be in jail for the rest of her life. Where will these 8 kids be? Unbelievable. You have 8 kids by the time you're 40 years old and you do something. This is just crazy. The Clark County District Attorney, Cassandra Acosta, did not mince words during Tuesday's preliminary hearing. She knows the difference between reverse and drive. She clearly knew. The criminal complaint says that she is accused of willful, deliberate, and premeditated murder of Hicks. The couple had been together for about 20 years. They share 8 children. Prosecutors say the argument began inside Roman's brand new Outlander, a vehicle she had owned for less than a day, before escalating into the restaurant's parking lot. Hicks exited the SUV, and she allegedly struck him with the vehicle. She claims it was a tragic mistake. She told authorities she intended to put the SUV in reverse, but accidentally accelerated forward. Her attorney, David Lopez Negrete, argued in court that the strike was accidental and emphasized that the Outlander does not have a traditional gear shift. Look at the fact that Ms. Roman had just purchased this vehicle, had been using this car for the better part of that morning, and there is no testimony that she had been backing up and going forward. I think if you add it all up, you'll see that it's a very viable argument that this was an accidental strike. Prosecutors countered that Roman had been driving around earlier that day and had visited a pawn shop where she would have needed to reverse while parking, suggesting she was familiar with how the SUV operated. After Hicks was struck and pinned, chaos erupted. Officers responding to the scene reportedly struggled to free him because the vehicle's gears could not immediately be shifted. Authorities also alleged that Roman attempted to flee after striking Hicks. An Olive Garden patron in the parking lot was carrying a concealed firearm, reportedly drew his weapon and ordered her to stop. Inside the courtroom Tuesday, Roman reportedly appeared distraught. They described her as hysterical, wailing loudly, rocking back and forth. At one point, she appeared to plug her ears with her fingers. The judge ruled that there was enough evidence to move forward with the murder charge and ordered the case to proceed to trial. She's scheduled to return to court for her arraignment. Wow. Now it says a day ago, Furious Pink denies she split from her husband. And another one said she did. Now listen to this one here. Hold on, I'm trying to find my, where's my... Here we go. There we go. All right, so this one here, a mom lured the kid's dad to a YMCA. They were going to swap the kids for custody. But instead, he was stabbed by the girlfriend's ex. Okay. San Antonio. Hey, Texas. Mother's been charged with helping to orchestrate the stabbing of her children's father. Melanie Sierra Gomez, 31, is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. She's accused of luring her children's father to a local YMCA where his girlfriend's ex stabbed him. Now, let's just even try to process that, okay? The woman lured her children's father to a YMCA where he was stabbed by his girlfriend's ex. The father, who was 32, went to pick up his two children on February 19th at around 6:30 p.m. at the Davis Scott Family YMCA. The dad told police that he parked in front of the YMCA, and he talked to Gomez while waiting for the kids. She told him to go inside to get the kids, so he left the car running and went in. When he asked the staff where he could find her, Gomez told him to come back outside. When he went out the front entrance, he saw Abel Ali Rivas, 27, approach him with a knife in his hand. "What's up?" Rivas said. Gomez also arrived, and the pair began calling the father names and making comments about the father's girlfriend. Gomez then told Rivas to go do what you're going to do. Rivas stabbed the father with the folding knife, causing serious wounds to his arms and stomach. Gomez stopped the father from getting away by pushing his back against a vehicle and holding him back. This is crazy. Rivas then got in the father's car and drove away. Gomez continued making comments about the father's girlfriend before leaving the scene. Medics took the dad to the hospital. He underwent surgery for his injuries. His girlfriend told police she received a call from the father during the stabbing. "Are you going to stab me over this?" she heard him say? She said she could hear Rivas and Gomez's voices on the other end. She knew it was Rivas because they had been in a relationship for 10 years. Gomez is in custody at the Bexar County Jail with bail set at $75,000. Her next court appearance is scheduled for May 5th, and Rivas is facing a warrant for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and has not been taken into custody. What? Oh my gosh. I don't even know. I don't know what you guys are doing there. I don't even understand that. So she got with her husband's girlfriend's ex and they planned to stab her husband. What was that going to do? What? What the heck? This is crazy. There's a really good story about this boutique owner that's been arrested 11 times with 11 different mugshots. Wow, what the heck? Okay, let's, where are you guys? I gotta get back to you. Okay, there you are. Yeah, my ex tried that trash, but I saw it coming early enough to save myself. Really? Wow. I really wonder how her face got all battered. As a kid, it's terrible what happened to her face. Hi, Laura B. Light. Laura B. Light. Don't be heavy. Hi, Laura B. Light. That's such a beautiful story, wasn't it? It made me cry. It was very beautiful. About picking up a rumor, though. What? Picking up a rumor? What happened? I was watching that they were bombing Iran again. Okay. Let's see. Hi, pretty girl. Heart me wise. That's why I always tell people to watch your surroundings. Yes, always, right? Always watch your surroundings. Okay. Did everybody hit the likes? Hit the likes, hit the likes, hit the likes. Hit the likes. Hit the likes. Okay. Now, YouTube is ridiculous. You keep getting kicked out, Dookie Daisy? Uh-oh. So did Jen Girl get kicked out? Oh, she did too. All right. She got kicked out also. You're not the only one. She just got kicked out. She got kicked out of Zoom. I don't know how. I don't know why. Okay. Good night, Jen. Okay. I think I know why she's tired. Not nice, YouTube. You say you're learning, Duke and Daisy. That's what you say. Not nice. Just like that. You got to say it like that, too. Not nice. All right. Who's ready for the word game? I feel like I've got something in my contact lens. It's driving me crazy. Okay. Not nice. Did I? Hold on a minute. I want to make sure, I hope I didn't leave. Hold on, I gotta check that I didn't leave my Mod Podge open or something. Hold on, this. You guys have me all exasperated, and I don't know what I was doing. Yeah, no, okay. I really like this sunflower thing that I made. It looks really nice. You guys didn't say anything about it, but it looks really nice. It wasn't nice that you guys didn't tell me it was nice. That was not nice. It looks really nice. I like it a lot. I don't know, just the stamping and the gold and everything. It's so nice. Very nice. And you guys didn't say a freaking thing about it. Okay. Let me get the word game. Hi, Murder of Crows. You're here for the word game. Order in the court. Spin. Today is the last day of February. Oh, baby. Okay. Daily puzzle. Okay, that's all I'll do. You guys, come on. Come on. Unless it's just me and Murder playing. Dukin, where are you? Shining. Excuse me. Very good. Shin. Very good, Murder. Come on, Dukin. Love you, baby. Come on. You guys have to go. Hi. No, you can't. There's only one H. Hold on, I gotta give my baby a treat. Hold on a second. My buddy's calling me. My buddy is calling me. I've got to give him a treat. What I have for you, baby. There you go. Here you go, baby. This? Yep. Yeah. Okay, let me switch it. Let me do this. Okay, what'd you get? Gins. And in and ins. Okay, come on. 9. Hi, Chrissy. I had to finish it. Hey, look at that. We did it February. English calls sweethearts, but Scots call pig's ears. And we had a Scottish person in the chat today, and we have an English person here. Look at that. Palmier. Okay, I'll leave the rest for you guys. Let's go. Come on, guys. I knew you were going to get that one. I knew you were going to get that one. Sever, says Dukin. Sever, says Dukin. Very good. Reverse, says Chrissy. Oh no, we need another R. But good try. Nope. C, says Murder. C. Ever, says Chrissy. Right. Very good. Eve and Eves. Says Murder. Very good. No problem, Chrissy. Everyone makes mistakes, so why can't we? Big people, small people. We don't have to cancel the live like that crazy lady told me. We have to find that call and listen. We have to. We'll laugh our butts off. If we find that call, we gotta find bloopers. We gotta find that call. That lady actually told me I had to cancel the live because we made a mistake. Remember? C's. We need another S, Chrissy, and then serve, says Murder. Hi, Sandra. C is there. Okay, what did you get? Reeve. Very good. Okay. Armchair, I got it. I beat you this time, Murder. I beat you this time. Okay. Air, says Zigzag. Hi, Zigzag. Hi, Zigzag. Air. And then Murder says it works like a charm. Okay. Hair. Got it up there, Dookie. Good. Ram, says Zigzag. I've rammed my foot right into that chair. I beat you, Murder. Come on now. Yes, I did. You got to give that one to me. You can't get them all. They're not like Pokemon. Amy says sever. Amy's behind. Amy needs a... Can somebody put... Let me put this in the chat. Nancy, you are behind. We have moved to the next puzzle. Now, Aria. Very good, Murder. How did she do that again? How did she put sever down there again after I told her she was... Nancy, Nancy, you're behind. Move your little red thing all the way to the end. Nancy, Nancy. You know why? Because she probably pauses it for a minute and then puts it back on and thinks she's in the same place. Ham. Ham, says Zigzag. You're right. Come on, guys. Aim, says Murder. Let's go. Keep it going. Keep it going. Don't lose your momentum. Don't lose it. Arc. Joan of Arc. Let's go. I know so many, and I'm not doing them to give them to you, to let you have fun. Don't you wish to? Come on, you guys. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Hold on. Extra word. Harm, says Zigzag. Zigzag says harm. Yes, very good. What else do you have? What else do you got in you? What else do you have? I just love it when a plan comes together. Never suspecting. Let's go. Here's the word mole there. Mole, mole. Where's the word? Come on, guys. What are you doing, guys? Come on. You want me to do some? You guys are stumped? Charizard. Very good, Murder. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm going to do one because you guys are slow. So slow, so slow. I think it's YouTube that's slow, but what are you going to do? Cram. Cram that down your throat, Murder says. Cam. The cam doing lots. I think that's going to be an extra word. Yeah. Cram. YouTube is slow. Okay. It's really slow. It's like ridiculous. What's wrong with it? Somebody said it went down again. Remember when it went down that day? Somebody said it went down again yesterday. I don't know. What do you think they're doing? They're doing something to YouTube. Something's crazy. Hi, YouTube monitors. What are they doing to YouTube? YouTube is being crazy. It's crazy, I tell you. I got it. Him. Oh, Zigzag got it. Very good, Zigzag. Glad you got that. All right, let's try one more. No, I said that. You and me, murder. Look at that. We got it at the same time. Look at that, murder. Look at my hand. We got it together. And that's what we did. Fan, says Amy. Fan. Yes, fan is there. Rag, says Pencilla. Look, here comes Rag. Here comes Pencilla with Rag. Oh my gosh. I'm tired, Pencilla. Don't mind me, okay? I may say a lot of things that are not right tonight. Don't let it form your impression of me. Tart, says YouTube. Monitors. There's not another T, but good try. Nat, says Dukin. I got that one. Grant says murder. You put it in. Oh, stop it, murder. It's not nice. Not nice. Rang. We rang in the new year together, says Amy. Grant, says Hart, but murder put it in. Zigzag, says an extra word. Zigzag. Raff, says murder. Okay. Frag. I put frag in. It went in the extra words. Gran. Somebody said gran. It went in the extra words. Nat. Nope, it's not there. Fang. Fang. Extra words. Rant. I think we already got that up there. Yes, we do. Raft. Do we have Raft up there now? Raft is up there now. Tan, says Pencilla. Tan. Very good, Pencilla. Frat. I tried that too. It went into the extra words. Art says, who said art? Art. Oh, I can't get it to the T. There it goes. Murder crows. Zigzag says aft. Very good in the extra words. Graft, says Hart. Good job. Okay. Tang. Tang. Remember when Jimmy used to make Tang all the time? Yeah, we never make Tang anymore. We never buy it at Sam's Club. Grant. Tarn. What in tarnation? Okay, who got that? Heart made wise. Grant is already up there. Good try. We've only got a few 3-letter words, 1 4-letter word. Ran. He ran. He ran like crazy. Tar. Very good. They already have that one, Duke it. It's in the extra words. You Dirty Rat is up there. The Drive, YouTube. Tar, got it. Fat, Fanta. Tag, you're it. Very good. Tag, you're it. Tag, you're it. Tag, you're it. Extra word. Come on, kids. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, kids. Let's go. I tried frat. It went in the extra words. Watch. Frat. Extra words. Afar. I can see. Afar. That's very good, Murder. And another one. We're done with that one. Should we play one more? Let's play one more tonight. I will do cool because that's what I am. And eek. I thought that, hold on a minute. Ego. Right. Geo. Oh, look at that. You probably got that because what do you got there? Very good, heart. Murder, logic, says heart. Very good. Logic, logo. Logo says heart, hearts. And here's sweeping it up. Log. Google. Coil. Goo says zigzag. Extra word zigzag. Igloo says murder. Very good. Clog. Clog dancing. Clog dancing. Gig. Gig, 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 gig. Lego. My ego says extra word. Oil, cool. Pencilla, lice says murder. Lice, not nice. Lie says heart. Oil, toil, oil, oil, oil. What happened to the oil? The ice. Okay. We get the gig. We got the gig. I got the loo and the extra words. How about the leg? Now we need another C. Can't do it. I know, right? Glog. Eyes. Igloo is already there. L-O-G-E. Extra word. Nice, nice, baby. Let's go. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on. Egg, says Pencilla. Very good, Pencilla. Very good. Cog, says murder. It's a cog in the wheel, right? Cog. Okay. Let's go, people. Eco says, I thought I went that way again. It's not there. Sorry, Amy. Nancy. Sorry, Nancy. It's not there. Sorry, Nancy. This one's for kids. Let's see what we got. Murder says. What about? Gel says murder. Gel. Yes, very good. We're done. We did it. We're going to be at cucumber 5 and 6 now. Oh, that was really good. Okay, everybody. I love you. May the Lord bless you and protect you and give you his peace. And may prayers for everyone that needs them. We all need them, so all for us. I love you guys. Thanks for spending time with me. God bless. I'll see you tomorrow, God willing. And be good. Be kind. Be a good person. See you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging.